Hello everybody, today I have the pleasure to propose to you this video 67, chapter 4, entitled HOLYSTYLE of Life. What is it concretely, to make it short, as this is the fourth, chapter of this concept. HOLYSTYLE of Life means holistic approach in your life. It means it's not binary, it's not duality. This is just encompassing a maximum of point of view and vision. Okay, it is implying transdisciplinarity, multitask, and so on and so forth. Okay, the goal is also to establish a common thread in different disciplines, crossing them to create some synergies. That's the point. In addition of that is the question of holy, sacred, saint, which means that you practice operationally your spirituality in your daily life, and not only exclusively in a building, in a temple. You contemplate, that to say, you open up the door within yourself of the consciousness, the source, whatever, but it's not fragmented, it's not outside, it's within. That's the point. Okay, so we saw the concept, the definition, some obstacles, some advice, some tips, some solution, and so on. We saw also the pillars. Okay, so we started with the first 5 pillars, which are, the first one is the fact that everything is global. It's a global vision in this approach. Okay, in this philosophy. Okay, everything is interconnected, everything is entangled. This is the notion of everything is in everything. Okay, second pillar. The third pillar is the concept of well-being. Well-being means that you're vibrating high frequencies of light and not matter, density, and so on, exclusively fragmentation. Okay, so it's the concept of aspiring to individual unity. And thereby, well-being means also to be well with other people. Second part, to rise your vibration, your frequencies, and so on. The equilibrium of the tree of life, the balance of tree of life, means the fact that there is visible and invisible world. When you see a tree, you can see, let's say, a physical dimension, but you cannot see the roots, despite the fact it is feeding. Okay, it is feeding the entire element, which is the tree of life. That's the point. That's essentially what we saw. And last point, the fifth pillar is the complete man, included the notion of left part of the brain, which is more mathematics, rationality, and so on. It is more analytic. And the second one is more, let's say, artistic, more spiritual. This is more this is the right part, which is more literature and so on and so forth, more creativity. And the more you access to these two way of functioning, okay, you activate your third eye, which is the 6th element, which is more feeling than only focusing on your 5 senses. Okay, so this is let's say a complementarity between, we could say that Western vision is more left brain, that is to say rationality. Okay, we analyze. And the second one is more in East, which is more Asian philosophy in general, which is more the fact to feel instead of necessarily to analyze. Okay, that's a complementarity for which the more you activate both, and the more you are more in the feel and the now here, through another perception of the 6th sense and the third eye. All right, so these are the 5 first pillars. So let's continue. The pillar 6 is what I called the triple triangle. Okay, or magic triptych. Okay, a triptych in painting means 3 painting, for which it creates something global. Okay, to make it short. So there are 3 ones. For me, a very important triptych is always a triangle, for which this is balanced. The first one is a triptych, an alignment with your body, your mind, and your soul. Okay, this is the old philosophy in Asia. Okay, when you do yoga, for which by extension is from Sanskrit, but by extension even in Old English, when we say to yoke means literally to connect, to link, okay, is this. Okay, when you do yoga, you connect your body, okay, to your mind and to your soul. It's not aerobic as we most of way of teaching are just without any spirituality anymore, and or just there is no essence anymore. But anyway, just for you to understand the focus point on one of the three triangle. The first one is that alignment with body, mind, and soul. Behavioral alignment and triptych, which is action, emotion, and reflection. Reflection is an analysis, self-analysis, eventually corrective actions, and so on and so forth. All right. Emotions, literally, we are not robots. We are not. We have emotion. Emotion is energy in movement. Okay, in a certain extent. So positive, negative, but it's a part of the game. Is the part of the experience of life. To experiment life is through this. Action, okay, because action is also the pragmatic way, okay, as I try to explain all the time. By extension of this notion of behavior, the triptych is what I baptized childhood presage. Okay, what is it? It's a contraction of childhood, child and adults, okay, combined, and presage, which means sage in progress, presage. But presage, you can hear also in the language of bird, presage. Why? It's three concepts. The first one is the child, the inner child. The second one is the adult, the parents. And the third one is the wisdom, the old man with a certain detachment. This is three aspects of a complete human beings also. I mean, tendency, let's say, we aspire to, or not. It's a question of choice. But this is within someone, okay? So, why it's so important in a child? Simple. Why? Because this is the capacity to, wow, to marvel at life, about little things. You know, just to play, when you're a kid, you're playing like this kind of thing. You just marvel because there are ants, and oh, it's fabulous. Oh, daddy, look at this. This is this capacity. The capacity to say, oh, I paid a cashier, and you are so happy to give a note. And it's so exciting. Oh, I open up the door in the subway and so on. So if we take it back, this mindset, we are always happy. That's the point. The kids, they are in the bubble. Oh, they play. They are in the game. They don't care about the judgment and so on from adults and so on. They don't care. So they are in a certain extent in their bubble, full of creativity, of dreams and so on. Okay, so this is an inspiration. Okay, but not exclusively. It's not to become a naughty. You know, it's naughty boy, naughty girl. Is not that. It's just a good balance, of course. The second one is the adults with the rules, the structure, the methodology, the action, and so on. It's not bad. It's also another, let's say, skill of the complete man. And the presage, the sage, the wisdom, is a certain detachment on life. It's with experience, with no too much let's say, involvement of progress, of competition, success, and so on. It's a certain detachment for which it takes time. It has its own rhythm, and so on. So, combining all these aspects bring us into a certain completeness and thereby wholeness. Well, in the approach as well, which is more an alignment, the triptych of, let's say, the methodology is what I baptize also tip, as in English, advice, okay, theory, intuition, practice. This is something like, for instance, I'm always using the same example, but it's not a big deal. You want to learn about cuisine. Okay, so the theory you learn from the books, the course, the online stuff with a chef, and so on and so forth. Okay, you have the theory, you know the ingredients, you know the nutrients, the enzymes, and so on. Okay, fine, great. This is purely theory. And then, thanks to the practice, you're gonna try by your own. Okay, at the beginning it will be too burn, not enough, and so on. It will be eatable, it will be okay, it will be good, it will be very good, it will be delicious, it will be divine, and so on and so forth. Okay, because you improve and you take some corrective action that you acquire through your experience. Okay, so that's the same principle. Theory from the books, from the recipe and so on, then you put in practice. Practice makes perfect, as we say in English, right? So, and the last one is the more you develop the theory, the more you develop the practice, and the more you can innovate. So it's more an intuitive approach. It means this is auto-coaching, this is auto-learning, self-learning in a certain sense, because you innovate, you improve, either by assembling, as we saw in the key 38 in creativity, either you do assembling, okay, of existing things, or from scratch you download, which is quite rare. The second one is quite rare, but most of the time, like I gave the example of cuisine, fusion cuisine. Okay, when you mix from Ecuador with Japanese, it makes fusion and it makes something different. Okay, so imagine the number of composition you can cross. You have thousands, of course. So that's the point of, okay, to open up the door to a new field of consciousness. That's the point. All right. 7 pillar is the enlargement of the invisible world. What does it mean? It means that it's supposed to be inclusive and not exclusive. What does it mean? It means it's fleeing the notion of proselytism. Proselytism, I see a perspective of the Rubik's Cube that I have in front of me, the face, so I want to impose to anybody. Despite the fact, according to the angles of views, everybody is right, all right? So, but the proselytism is that, and then one of the danger of our modern society, but before it was the same case, is the will to impose to everybody like a homogeneity of the thought. Okay, which is, once again, depending on your point of view, your angle of perception, your education, your culture, time, and so on and so forth, and experience of life, of course. Okay, so, but anyway, a larger perspective of invisible world, we could start with religion. Okay, religion, basically, what is it? Religare, I say many times, means to reconnect to yourself, to mankind, to nature, and to God, invisible world, whatever the word. All right, the source, the unity, and so on, whatever. Okay, whatever the name or no name. This is more for dogmas, rites, rituals, and so on and so forth. Okay, it's more for hygiene of life, rules, respect each other. Normally on the paper, I said. Okay, and then the second layer is more the invisible part that we call esoteric. Esoteric part, eso, in Greek means hidden and inner. Okay, that's why I insist on the first video saying that insider means literally that. Huh? When you receive a spiritual teaching in an esoteric part, is you become an insider. So, but this is more the true essence of the real messages. Usually, it's not written transmission. It's more oral transmission, to see and to bounce back, to reformulate in case of interpretation and with feedback of the teacher and the students. Okay, the teacher and the students make together the teaching. Okay, that's the point. So then spirituality, we could say, is a bit of mix, is more a buffet. It means that this is existing things, and you take what's vibrate or not. It's according to what you know of yourself. If you're intolerant to a certain ingredients, for example, is a metaphor, you take a little bit what vibrates. Okay, that's why Deepak Chopra said religion is following the experience of someone else, despite spirituality is following your own guidance and your own experience. I share quite well. Okay, so it's interesting to have some benchmarks, some inspiration of other people, but then to do your own experience is, for me, extremely important. Then you have layers as well. You can even go further with mysticism. Okay, mysticism is close to magic and so on. It's more with ritual, symbolism, and so on and so forth. Okay, and once again, symbol means literally, etymologically speaking, it means to put together. Okay, so which is the contrary of diabolus, which is segmentation. Okay, diabolus, Satan. Okay, Satan. Then the different, let's say, subtle words. That's to say, angels, entity, ghosts, whatever you believe or not. It's just egregores, archetypes, ET, and so on and so forth. Okay, which are part of another chapter we can consider. Even if you can find also angels in religion and so on, I do agree, we can cross as well. And the last one is probably the more, which is for me a real springboard for those who are really materialistic and very Cartesianist and so on. This is energy. As I say many times, there is only energy. What you call matter, this is only energy for which the vibration has been highly reduced to be perceivable to your senses. Who said that? Not me. Einstein, the greatest scientist of last century almost. Okay, so first of all, there is no matter. I mean, just density. So density is just vibration. And balancing with Nikola Tesla, who said, once again, if you want to find the secret of the universe, think in terms of frequency, energy, and vibration. Okay, so that's also a way, a springboard to reach or to open up to kind of openness, basically. When I say is inclusive and not exclusive, I like this symbol of Olympic Games because it's entangled, interconnected cycles. All right. If you type "flower of life" on internet, you will see even a larger perspective. For me, this is the vision, the best pattern, okay, the best schema of what I consider as this enlargement of the invisible world. This is entangled. Okay, all is containing all. Okay, and this is a complementary, not a battle, not a competition, and so on. Okay, a word to a wise, of course. 8, pillar 8, detachment versus involvement. I know it seems to be a paradox, but it's not. If you know the Asian spirituality, and especially through Chinese medicine, or same principle, Tao, the Tao, Yin, Yang, Ida, Pingla is the same principle. But concretely, this is the same thing when you do Qigong, Tai Chi, yoga, and so on. It's the same principle of that. It is, how to say, a certain detachment, and with an involvement, it means that there is a very narrow membrane between these both concepts. That's why when you observe someone doing Tai Chi, the movement is slow, and in the meantime, immediately maybe you will have this movement up like this. Okay, so it's really balancing both aspects of action, passivity. Okay, both sides. So more down to earth concept, because it is really difficult to catch this moment. It's really by practicing that you can really feel it. It's not really to understand, it's more to understand, neologism. Okay, so that's really the point, is the fact that the detachment is to preserve yourself. It's, you don't expect anything. Okay, you are just welcoming, you are just accepting what's arrived. Okay, if you don't expect anything in a couple, friendship and so on, you're never disappointed. Same for life in general. The detachment, it doesn't mean you don't care. It means that you don't suffer because you are always in the will process. Will, I want. Okay, as I say many times, Happiness is not necessarily to get all what you want, but to be satisfied with what you have. This is the principle. Okay, so certain detachment. Don't rely upon too many people in this world, because even your darkness, your shadow, leaves you in the darkness. Okay, it's beautiful philosophy, but is the principle. Involvement means that concretely is to be enthusiastic. Enthusiastic, I say many times, etymologically speaking, in Greek, it means crossed by divinity. Concretely is because you clean up, okay, if I refer to the cleansing inside, okay, you clean up the trauma and so on, the different mask of the masquerade of the personality, the different persona, the personage, the different, let's say, mask of identification that you have from sociology, culture, education, and so on and so forth, okay, the wardrobe, but you are not the wardrobe, you are your body, okay, that's the point, as a metaphor. But concretely is once you clean up this conflict, this inner conflict that between the angel and the devil inside yourself, okay, is the principle, the definition of what we call in Arabic jihad. Okay, in Islam it means literally struggle, not outside, only inwardly, only inwardly, exclusively inwardly. It's even a blasphemy to think that we can judge someone outwardly. So this is vain, this is impossible. The only jihad is that inner battle, that to say the principle of know yourself, know thyself, and you will know the secret of God and the universe. This is based on the same concept. You clean up. Okay, so you give less attention to your inner Satan, that to say the fragmentation, and to give more, to feed more your positive aspect, the little angel, more in the unity, for which you are not fragmented, you are in the wholeness. That's the basic point. So, but the thing is, and once again, to quote again Marianne Williamson, the more we open up, the more you awake, the more you enlighten people for them to find their own way to awaken by their own. Okay, that's the same principle always. We are turning in different cycles, but it all is in all. This is what I explained many times. How you want to struggle and fight against darkness. You cannot. You know how you do? You emit more light. That's the only point. So, it's not metaphorical. It means that's be the change that you want to see in the world. You don't like the world you see, build a new world. I mean, with your proximity and so on and so far. But you can also change it. That's why Mother Teresa said, don't invite me to protest against war, but if you want me to work for a peaceful work, I will come. You know, it's two things different. Either you struggle, you are against a system, darkness, war, and so on. And the second one, you create peacefully peace. Okay, it's two different and radical things. Even if at the end we think it's the same, it's not the same perception at all. So, pillar 9 is consciousness versus consciousness, with let's say a capital letter and with small c. This is referring to the key 18. Okay, small consciousness is your consciousness. And the consciousness is the big all. Okay, to come back to the analogy, your own consciousness is alveolus, okay, a part of a piece of the puzzle game, and the puzzle game is the cosmic breath or the cosmic lung. That's the point. Okay, so this is more also regarding the notion of space-time. Okay, regarding the notion of key 15 and 16, okay, being in the present, the now, here, and so on, and to consider the superposition of the multiverse according to your frequencies, your state of mind, your mindset. Einstein said, he says something like, it's come back, adjusts. Attends, it's something like, sorry, normally it's fluid. According to your vibration, your point of view, try to adjust your point of view and what you want, and you cannot stop getting it. It's not science fiction, it is, and philosophy, it is science. So, what does it mean? You vibrate, you are aligned with what you think, what you expect, what you want, and what you are already grateful to get at it, and it's impossible to get it. So what does it mean? It means like if it were superposition, like layers of realities. Considering that if you vibrate with your state of mind, okay, in your action and so on, just only passivity, you shift in a certain direction. But probably that there is a coexistence between all the scenarios. Okay, I invite you once again to watch video 15 about space-time, about present, okay, present, okay, previously, key 16 and the key 18 regarding consciousness. So this is the principle of quantum mechanics, this is the principle of multiverse and so on. This is science. This is not spirituality, New Age, 0.0, this is not this, okay? So, and last but not least, the last pillar is the introspection. I should have put it at the beginning, okay, but it's to conclude with it, okay? Introspection, this is the principle again and again about cleaning your past to be peaceful and to welcome your presence and to clean up for having a wonderful springboard for your future, okay? So, introspection is to be peaceful towards your entire self, to life in general, okay? Criticizing means two things, I say many times. It means select, positive, negative. That's why there is negative criticizes and positive one as well, as long as it is constructive. So, but the thing is very important is, okay, you know what you don't like within yourself, you know what you don't like within the society. Is a good way to experience what you are not or what you don't want. And thereby, it allows you to eventually propose some new solutions, new alternatives, and so on. Okay, as Einstein said, you cannot solve the problem with the same mind which created it. Okay, so it's the same principle. Okay, so it's a blessing to have this kind of hardship, okay, for you to choose and to know what you want or what you don't want. Okay, but at least being proactive, that to say, to be resourceful, to be source of proposal, and not only wait and see and blah 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 and detachment and no, is also to be implemented into the game. Okay, so, but this is what I say initially, and this is a principle of alchemy, destruction, cleansing, and thereby transmutation. Transmutation means transcendence, for which you reach a new, let's say, a new life, and so on, new paradigm, with a certain, let's say, common thread. Well, I hope that's the whole information regarding Holy Style of Life is clear for you. But the thing is, if it's only culture, if it's only theory, at the end of the day is meaningless and is useless. As we say, practice makes perfect. So Holy Style of Life is a daily life practice of spirituality for you to help you back to contemplate this amazing temple, which is the living life, not outside me, within me. Okay, and this is the principle of the etymology, I say many times, of enthusiasm. Enthusiasm, enthusiastic means literally, check on internet, in Greek etymology, it means literally crossed by the inner divinity, by God. Okay, so keep this in mind. This is only one key for you to, to tend to help you to shape your master key to open up the doors of consciousness, of love, of whatever you want. As you know, all the roads lead to Rome and to the Dome and to home. Thank you for your attention and see you very soon.